Hello everyone, my name is Okotho Pono, the host of Tuko Freshy, and this is
Starehe Center.
Na mkoaje leo?
Tuko Freshy.
Today, we are happy to host Tuko Freshy at our school where young girls are nurtured to be productive and exemplary members of the society. Today, we are here to discuss the role of young people in today's society's leadership and to also take a tour of the school. Karibuni sana. Come and join us.
This is Nani leta huyo rukeni mbele. Okay, neutral. Badu.
Becky.
Kamata, wewe ukiona unaita tu ndio na ukiita unaenda. Mnataka tuanze kusema tap the screen. Okay, Badu. Ba. Badu. Ba. Badu. Ba. Badu. Ba. Ba. Badu. Ba. Here's the thing. The next 10 to 15 minutes at most, I want you to find reasons why it is why the people who are electing people in offices should be held responsible. We are blaming the people who are elected. We are blaming the leaders. Yes. We are blaming the leaders. Ona, kujeni karibu, because sasa mkikaa mbalimbali hivi mtaelewana. Have that group discussion amongst yourselves very fast. Let one person take the lead of this group, chap. Why do we blame the leaders? Please justify it. Sawa? Okay, mimi nimeenda. Hello everyone and welcome back to Tuko Freshy. This is the master negotiation session here at Starehe Girls Center. Starehe Girls Center, mkoaje?
Tuko Freshy.
Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Yes, just to remind everyone who is watching and everyone who is listening, a topic was given to the students way before this conversation, before we go to this point. And the topic is for the failed delivery of services as a result of poor leadership in our country and in our communities. Who should then be held responsible? The leaders or the people who put leaders into these positions? And here today we have two teams. The first team called the Invisibles, and then we have the citizens. The citizens are actually saying that let us blame the people who put these people to power. Then the other team is saying no, let us blame the leaders. Please clap for yourself as we start this session. And maybe also for you back at home and anyone who is watching, the big question is, for the same challenge that we are talking about, who should we blame? Do we blame the leaders or do we blame the citizens, actually the voters, the community members, who give these leaders the opportunity to serve us? Let us listen from what the debaters or the negotiators on this table have to say. I'll probably be your master negotiator for today, Okoth Opondo, and welcome once more.
The first reason as to why we are blaming the leaders, one, is because it is the choice of the leaders once they are placed in power to make those bad decisions. That is the poor leadership. The second reason is because of a chain that they develop in the office. For example, we have a leader who has been in office for, let's say, 10 years. He leaves the person behind him or her in the same kind of culture of being corrupt. Okay. So they're just leaving a chain of poor leadership still in the culture. That is not the blame of the citizens. Number three, we have transparency and accountability of our leaders. You cannot blame the citizens for not being aware. If the citizens are unaware, then it is the problem of the leaders who are not telling them what they are doing, or who are not actually exposing, or it is not being exposed what they are doing in the government. So transparency is not there, and we cannot blame the citizens for not knowing. They do not know. The fourth, the leaders may be suppressive towards the citizens. And even if the citizens are protesting and calling out what they do not like in the government, the leaders are still going to come back and fool them as to what they have done and change again, like the recent incident we have seen in our country just this other day.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. This other side. So who is taking it?
The citizens elect people based on their tribes, ethnicity, and popularity. And as we said here in school, we pick on the names and how they look like, on their popularity and such basis, which doesn't really form a strong foundation.
Okay, number two.
Number two, there's a lot of, we don't give we don't give people who want to rise into leadership equal opportunities. Just because this person is of a certain gender, like we see in the current society today, we don't tend to elect the female, or maybe because this person does not have enough funds. We also tend to blame the citizens because we are the ones who appointed them, and we are the people who have the power of the country. We are the country, basically. And therefore, if we take a firm stand, the citizens could actually do so much better, and we would be able to elect the proper leaders. And because the citizens are easily persuaded by the leaders, sometimes we do understand that the promises that the leaders make may not come to reality, but we tend to be persuaded by their words, not actually what they're doing. Or let's say, for example, in a leader who's taken a 5-year term, we know that they haven't really done much, but yet we're still going to elect them again because they promise to do much better in the next following term.
Let me start with the citizens. What do you think? Very fast, the first citizen. Go ahead.
I personally think that we should really blame the citizens. Now, if we really look at this, the citizens tend to elect people based on their tribes, their ethnicity, and other factors. Let's say, for example, we were recently talking about how we elect leaders here in school, and some of us will actually say that we will do so based on names, based on how their personality, their popularity, and I think that is a common problem, and that's why citizens tend to elect poor leaders. We don't really think deeper into this, and we don't really tend to think of the consequences of what will actually happen in the future. Yes.
Okay, let's hear from the first team, from the first person from this other team.
Michelle, allow me to ask you, when was the last time you voted?
The last time I voted.
You are a citizen, are you not?
I am.
Precisely. But you didn't vote. Am I right?
Depends on which basis you want to put it. I voted last year for the current leaders of our school.
Okay.
I would kindly suggest that we raise our voices for them to hear.
Sure.
Should they say something that makes you happy, feel free to appreciate them, right? Okay. Or your opening remarks for your team. Then we go to the other team members.
Yes, precisely. We strongly believe that the leaders are to blame for the current state of the country. Okay, allow me to ask, how many times has the rigging of elections come up in this country?
Quite a number of times.
Severally, exactly. Because the power isn't even in the hands of the people, so we cannot blame them for the bad leadership that is in the country today. Because the power is barely in their hands. Rigging of elections is a common game. Most Kenyans say they're used to it by now. they put in place leaders who we barely even chosen. The numbers are way off the charts. The polling doesn't even make sense. Yet you want to tell us that the citizens are the ones putting wrong leaders in power. It doesn't make sense to me.
It does to me. Okay, let's put it in this basis. The citizens, we elect these leaders, right? But then, remind me a point. You say that the leaders are the ones who rig the elections, yes? And that the power belongs to the leaders. But that's actually quite wrong. The citizens elected these leaders. Now, if you really look at it, the leaders, the citizens elect the leaders. The citizens are the ones who put the leaders in their place. Now, the people are the ones with the power. The people are the ones who elected. You can say that a leader, that's basically, how will I put it?
Okay, just show us how the citizens have the power.
The people have the power because you say the leaders rig elections, but who do they pay? They pay the citizens.
Wait,
The
so
citizens are the ones. The citizens are the ones who are paid to rig the elections.
By who?
By the leaders.
Exactly. So the problem is
The people.
the problem is
because they agree
no,
to
who
be.
pays?
Let me come in.
paid.
So when citizens are bribed to elect wrong leaders, do we blame the citizens or do we blame the leaders who pay them?
We blame the citizens.
Do we blame the citizens for taking the bribes or do we blame the leaders who want to get to the
The
offices?
citizens had an option to say, no, we don't want your money. But the citizens accepted to take the money and they also accepted to rig the elections in turn for receiving money.
I feel like high or low, whether you help me or whether you don't help me, I will have my way because I myself can go and do that job on my own. In other words, the citizens may be oppressed by these leaders. And so what other option do you have but to accept? It may not be a matter of choice, but a matter of being forced.
Away from this issue of bribery, let me go back to the citizens. Give us 2 more reasons before we allow them to counter. 2 more reasons why we should blame the citizens.
So, citizens, I believe, are very ignorant. First of all, because we know that we are the people with power. It is because of us that the leaders are where they are. We are the ones who gave them our votes. So, as a citizen, it is your responsibility to follow up on what these leaders that you have chosen are doing in office. And if they prove to be incompetent, you have the power to take a stand and say, no, we want better. We want you to provide better services for us.
Okay.
You can speak.
Okay, go ahead.
Now you're saying the citizens are ignorant, right? The lack of knowledge for the citizens is as a result of the responsibility that the government has neglected to do. The government is responsible for civic education. Now, if the citizens are ignorant, which is lack of knowledge, on what to do, how to choose leaders, and how the structure of the government works, how can they defend their case? How can they possibly expect good leadership? So the problem is still the leaders in place.
Okay, I have a question. Some of these things are common sense. You're a citizen, yeah? And you vote for a leader. When you're voting for a leader, you're voting for them to provide services for you. Otherwise, why else are you voting? When you're voting for a leader, you expect them to do what they're supposed to do as leaders, and that is represent us, provide services. But if they don't do that, you're supposed to you have the power to sit back and be like, no, we want better, and actually do something or find someone to.
Exactly. So when the citizens are putting the leaders in place, they are putting leaders who are good in place. The leaders go ahead and change when they are taking these positions. They come back, they are corrupt, they have taken our money, they are stealing our taxes. How is that our fault? We gave the power to them. What they decided to do with the power is not our issue.
When
the leaders are the problem. The moment they get into power, what are they doing with the power?
We give the power to them sometimes, knowing very well that they're not educated.
At what situation will you choose a leader and they're not educated?
Just a moment, maybe let's hear a response.
We tend to elect leaders sometimes knowing very well that they're not educated. Some of them cannot even speak proper English, but we still put them in power. Why? Because maybe they may be from our tribes. Maybe it's because we think that if we put them in place, I know this person, you'll probably favor me. So the problem is the people. Because why do you pick someone who you know very well is not suitable for that seat, but you still put that person in power?
Give me one situation when I've picked.
Allow me to ask you one simple question. Do you know the process that needs to be taken in place for a member of parliament to be recalled? Does any one of you know the process that should take place? Precisely. You have no clue. The process of recalling the, as you call it, unsuitable leaders. unsuitable members of parliament who are supposed to represent the people, which means you have unsuitable leaders in place, yet the citizens cannot do anything. Why? Because they lack the basic civic education that they should have. And who is supposed to provide this civic education? The leaders. The primary civic education that should have been provided to you to begin with, so that you could control all that is taking place in power. Yet
Allow
still
me
it
to
wasn't
interrupt
provided
you.
for you.
I think most of the time, the citizens act before thinking. Leaders come to us, they tell us, I will bring roads, I will bring education. Leaders come and lie to us, and they go back to town. Let's say, for example, a leader was vying in a certain remote area. They go back to Nairobi, enjoy a lavish life, and 5 years later, they'll still come and lie to us. So I
Sorry,
think,
did you just say the
excuse
leader
me,
has
just
lied?
let me finish. So I will still blame the citizens because they are being gullible and they're allowing themselves to be swayed by the lies of the wrong leaders.
And
Now,
also, Michelle,
you have said the leaders
proved
are
my
lying.
point.
Now, the fact that you have said the leaders are lying and you've said the citizens are allowing themselves to be gullible, right? The fact that they have been tricked, they do not know. That is the point of being tricked. Now, we are talking about citizens who have taken up the position of electing leaders out of what you call ignorance and out of maybe not knowing. But we are saying you have been tricked, you have been lied to. You think it is the truth. Once they get the position of office, they change. And thus you have poor leaders because now they change and become bad towards the citizens.
Allow me
so
to
you cannot
remind
say
you-
that is out of maybe
Okay.
their lives.
Let me just interject and ask one simple question to all of you, because there are those now saying, let us blame the leaders. The others saying, no, let's blame those who put the leaders in position of power, right? Or in the positions of leadership. What are some of the issues you expect the leaders to address? Maybe I think those are issues that we all agree on, right?
Yeah.
What are some of the services we're expecting from these leaders? Yeah. Okay.
Basic education.
Basic education,
They should address the issue of unemployment.
unemployment is another issue.
They're supposed to be solving issues on poor transport because we're having lots of accidents killing innocent lives. They're supposed to be solving issues of insecurity, not just in our borders, but also within the borderlines of our counties. That's why we have the CS of security, CS dealing with transport. They're supposed to also be representing the people in foreign affairs in the outside world.
Okay.
But the only thing I see is that they're just marketing themselves.
Okay, good. Any other issue? Any other issues? Yeah. Because I know together we agree on these issues, right?
Allow me to ask you a
Okay.
question. Michelle, so you asked us what was the process of recalling an MP, right?
Yes.
Do you understand the process yourself?
I believe I do.
Okay, when you say you do you understand from the beginning till the end? And don't you mind explaining it to us?
Okay. Would you like me to explain it to you?
Just a short brief of it, yeah.
Okay. The most basic part is that signatures have to be collected from the people themselves. So if, say, we have a member of parliament who is doing nothing in office, all we have to do is collect signatures from the people of the given constituency, and all we need is a single third, and you can take this leader out of place. But since the people are illiterate, they haven't been provided civic education by the leaders, they don't even know how to do this, so they can't take them away from power.
So for the lack of civic education, so you've mentioned very critical issues here, the issue of healthcare. You've mentioned the issue of security, education, civic education. So lack of proper civic education, is it because the citizens themselves are not interested to know, or is it because the leaders are not carrying it out?
I believe that it's actually the citizens who do not want to know, because if you check the current situation, we've left politics to some certain people. Like, we believe these are the only people who are supposed to buy. Us, we don't have power, we don't have that money that we need to get there. So we just leave it to them. We're like, let them do what they want. In the end, they'll just leave. Other people will come, they'll do other things and play, and we just keep on
The
going.
citizens really don't care, then why are we having citizens go protesting against what the leaders are doing? Because they care. Democracy is by the people, for the people. Meaning you have gone to vote in the first place, knowing that you have an objective of picking a leader. You cannot say that you do not care about who is in politics. If you're taking yourself to vote, you're wasting your time then. Why are we voting?
Most Kenyans, they'll be given, the time there was this bill to be passed, they were given, but most of them didn't read it. Why? Because they don't find the need on it, or maybe they just leave it to the leaders, like let them do what they want, because they...
Did you know that Generation X, they had civic education as a subject? It was being taught, but now it is not even a subject. In the new education system, in the 844 system, it was not a subject. It was completely removed. They don't want to educate us so that we won't know what they are doing in power. They don't want us to know the wrongs they are doing so that we won't, as citizens, we won't know. It is them who are removing. They have the power to bring it back. But why aren't they bringing it back? Why are the leaders not taking the chance to bring it back to us?
I would like to cut across a point. We all do a common set book, right? The Samaritan.
Yeah.
Now, I remember that in the Samaritan, we learned that the problems of the society are the problems of the human heart. Yes, we live in a generation where our upbringing isn't so strong. We tend to think that politicians, how do I put it across? Politicians, they don't have the good characters. They don't have this. They won't elect us well, and this brings a certain mindset among the citizens. Now, how do you expect as citizens when
I'm sorry, did you say politicians do not represent us well as citizens? You said that right now.
Yes.
That means the leaders are the problem. But you may continue proving us right.
Yes. Okay. So, as I was saying initially, the problems of the society are the problems of the human heart. Yes. Our leaders are insufficient, and that is a well-known fact. I will not try to remove that, but let's just say the citizens, we do.
Sorry, once again, the leaders are the
If you will
problem.
let me continue, I will. Yeah.
Okay.
So when we say that the problems of society are the problems of the human heart, we live in a society where the citizens tend to have a negative upbringing about how politicians are and how politicians should be. Yes. So when the citizens, us as citizens, when we try to, if our upbringing would be right, if we would raise people with the awareness that citizens should be, leaders should be this, leaders should be that, then probably we will have better leaders. And therefore, it cuts across the points that the citizens are the problem. We tend to educate our people wrongly, and therefore we end up having leaders who are wrong. And yes, it does kind of prove on your point, but if you really think about it, it kind of cuts across both points. It is a negotiation, isn't it?
Okay. Team Invincibles, are you okay?
Yes.
Okay, the citizens. Okay, the citizens, who are you substituting? Okay, Sarah. Let's appreciate the lady who is coming, please. Okay, there is a great energy.
Has it occurred to anyone on this table that our leaders are just puppets? Can we blame our leaders if they're being controlled by external forces? Donors, for example. Does our country receive donations, grants, if you will, or not? Clearly, it does. And when we get these grants, of course, they come with conditions. So our leaders are just subject to the conditions that are given by external forces. So the laws they implement, the policies they make, they're all as a result of conditions they've been given by people from external forces, from abroad, from countries that are way beyond us.
Okay. Another reason? One more reason, then we come back to this side.
Yes. Another point is we're having leaders misuse funds. The funds that they're receiving, we are hardly able to see the physical aspects of it. We are unable to see what it's actually doing to the community. Lots and lots of loans, lots and lots of borrowing. We are busy paying the interest on the loans, but we can hardly see what these loans have done to our country. We can hardly see the development it's making to our people. We can hardly see the change. People are still crying. There's an outcry of poverty. There's an outcry of unemployment. There's an outcry of lack of education. And they talk of borrowing funds to deal with the issue of poverty and starvation in our northwest eastern region. They're talking of, we don't see what these funds are doing. The only thing we see is them busy enriching themselves, better houses, better cars.
But we don't see the change.
We don't see the change.
I have a question. Are the people aware of it?
The people are even unaware that the leaders are seeking loans.
No, I believe that the citizens are well aware. We do have the internet, don't we?
Does everyone have the internet? The people in the rural areas, do they have the internet? How will they get to know? How do you stand for them?
And even if they are aware that our leaders are seeking loans, are they aware what these loans are meant to do? And if they are aware what the loans are meant to do, can they really see what the loans are doing?
I did not ask what I didn't ask what the citizens, if the citizens are aware that the loans are being taken. I asked if the citizens are aware that the leaders are misusing these funds. Yes. Okay, let me just bring across my points.
I can oversee accounts in a different country. I'm busy moving funds from a certain account, taking them to my oversee account or something. Do I expect someone who's illiterate to find out what I'm doing with my accounts?
But let me ask, are the citizens just full of illiterate people? No, the citizens are well informed, the citizens are educated, and even
so, are
though
you discriminating illiterate people?
It is we as the citizens who perpetuate incompetence and bring about poor leadership in our country, because most of us, or the people who go into election to elect these leaders in power, they have created a notion in themselves that the young people are not able to, hawana hiyo nguvu ya kuingia in positions of power and to actually carry out what it is that is meant to be done as you're in power. You understand what I'm saying? They have created this thing in their head, this notion in their heads that adults, or the old ones, the old people, those that are not in this generation that we are in, those that are in the generations before us, you understand, they are more exposed. They have the notion. My point is that they have the notion in their heads that we as the young people are not able to enter into these positions of power. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say that when that occurs, we have this thing of regenerating or having these same leaders that we've been having for the longest time. We're afraid of what is going to happen if we bring about a change in the people that we're putting into power. What will happen? Or we're afraid of what is going to happen. We're afraid of change. We're afraid of bringing about change into, putting these new people into power. You see? Understand what I'm saying? Yes.
All right. Appreciate yourselves, please. Thank you. What is the way forward? Yeah, so your name and the way forward. Straight to the point, less than a minute.
My name is Michelle Mora, and I think the way forward is that every single citizen should speak with a common voice. Because I feel as if we're all divided on different lines, tribal lines, ethnicity, social class, then we're not really fighting towards a common cause, which is getting better leadership and building a better Kenya for tomorrow, for generations to come. So if you're all speaking with a common voice and we're all fighting against evil, not against specific people, then I feel as if we're headed towards the right direction.
My name is Angela Natasha, and my personal opinion on the matter is we should try educating the people who lack education. Not lacking education in the sense of I'm not taught in school. Lacking education in the sense of you're not sure whatever this leader is doing in power. When you go home, when you're going to your rural places, you can always talk to your grandmother and tell her, grandmother, see, this leader is not a good person. So far, this is what he or she has done. This is the train we are going in. And you, who has the power to elect these leaders, you can do a better job at that. Because you, as a student, you can't elect the leaders, but you can at least spread the awareness. You can let people know that this is the direction we need to go. We need to go to for the better future. Thank you.
My name is Imani Wamache, and my way forward, in my own perspective, is that we have been having a constant chain where we try to speak out as citizens and we are not being heard. So I think that solving that problem would come to the sense that we need to involve an external party. For example, maybe someone who is from outside of this country to come in and just rectify the justice system, because sometimes you can take a leader into the courts and nothing is done because of corruption we have within our own countries.
My name is Becky Moda, and for me what I think is we should have leaders currently in power, actually empowering the youth, empowering young people to actually take part in the governance of our country. Let's have them talk to the youth on the importance of governance. Let's have them talk to the youth on the importance of them being part of the governance of our country. Why are we only having a certain age bracket of people ruling our country? Yet we know there are several innovative ideas that the youth can actually share to better our country. And that's my stand.
My name is Natalie Wangoi, and my take on the matter is that we should avoid over-dependence on the government as citizens, because some of these things can be curbed by us taking a personal initiative. Like take, for example, unemployment. The government can't provide employment to all the citizens in the country. So develop your hobbies, take a personal initiative, and that will enable you to earn a living. So, yeah.
My name is Michelle Banjogu, and I think my stand on this is that we should be able to be informed and inform other people. Let's say, for example, when we need to, if we're able to inform other people of what our rights are as citizens and what for example, the finance bill entails, we're able to educate people so that they're able to understand why we are fighting for this cause and why we think that the finance bill is right. Therefore, we're able to come to a common ground as the citizens and both as the leaders. Yeah.
My name is Michelle Nabire, and my stand on this is that citizens should be educated to acknowledge that all sovereign power belongs to them, and they should therefore use their freedom of expressions to reprimand the leaders wherever they go wrong.
My name is Jemima, and my stand on this is that we have already established the fact that both the citizens and the leaders are held responsible for perpetration of incompetence. So my plea to the citizens is that at the time that you feel that the leader that you put in power is not doing what you expected them to do, please speak up. It is you that put that person into power. Therefore, it is there is power in your hands to tell them you're not doing the right thing, sir or madam. And to the leaders, kindly, if you are in the positions of power, you are there so that you can cater for the needs that I expect you to cater for. So please do not get into the position of power to gratify your selfish desires. Kindly consider myself because I put you in the positions of power. Yes, thank you.
But now I want to throw it back to you. What can we take home as leaders and as young people?
My name is Bansi Wangari, and my take is that poor leadership is based on leaders. The point on transparency and accountability. Our leaders, as we can see as citizens, we never knew that we had a lot of baggage as Kenyan citizens, but as our president later came on to say that Kenyans really have a really big debt in other countries. But come to think of it, when the Gen Z started demonstrating, Kenyan citizens stood out. When people got hurt, they actually gave a pay bill, which people contributed at least 30 million just to help the people who got hurt. What about if the government will be transparent enough to tell us the amount of debt that we have, and we as citizens get to contribute the money like we did? I think we can actually say that the leaders are the ones who are poor leadership.
My name is Naomi Misere, and my take home is that both citizens and leaders have a responsibility to run this country well. Citizens should be morally upright so that they can elect leaders that will help them up there, and leaders should be morally upright so that they do not change once they have that power that they are given by the citizens. And that's my take home.
My name is Joki Pruto, and what I take home is that we have the power to remove them. Yes.
My name is Pauline Rose. My take home from the conversation I just said is that the power lies in the hands of the citizens. So citizens should take the initiative to change the system whenever they see that something is wrong, because the government will be the way it is, depending on the decisions we make as citizens.
My name is Lisa Cherotich, and my take home is that it all starts with us. Us as citizens, we should be morally upright. We should see the decisions that our leaders are making. If they are wrong decisions, we should tell them. If they are right decisions, we should push for them and not judging them. Not judging them in terms of their tribes or in terms of where they come from. Yes.
Chantal Sharon, and what I learned from what we just did today is that the citizens should speak with a common voice, in that whenever a wrong is being done to them, they should be able to come together as one and fight the wrong against the bad leaders.
My name is Sarah Gesare, and my take home is that us as citizens, we should educate each and every citizen so that they can be able to choose good leaders in the future so that our country can develop.
My name is Nema Tracy, and my take home from the conversation we've just had is that as much as citizens we expect to get a lot from the leaders, we should also take personal initiative to encourage, to give the leaders motivation to provide these services, because without motivation there is no way they can provide the services. Yes.
My name is Elizabeth Mudhoni, and my take is good leadership should come from within all of us. It takes both our sides so that we can have good leadership in our country. As citizens, we should ensure from where we come from that what you're doing to enhance accountability, and all the good decisions and the bad decisions that people make are accounted for, and you as citizens are able to reprimand people who are in the wrong. As the leaders, they should learn how to lead people. They should know their role as leaders, and they should account for everything that they do. They should not shy away from what they do, and they should be there to serve the people and not to satisfy themselves with everything with the lavish that comes in being a leader. Yes, thank you.
My name is Melia Jacinta, and I've learned that we should choose leaders wisely. Yes.
My name is Nelly Chelangat, and my take is like we should choose our leaders wisely according to their qualities and the service that they are going to provide for us. And as citizens, we should know that we have the powers in our hands. And so, like, if you have seen a leader that is not presenting you well, so you have the power to remove the person.
My name is Nora Gadiomi, and what I've taken home is that I'm well informed and I'm well educated, and I can also use my well knowledgeable self and to take it back to my rural home and help them to also get information. And through that, we all have one goal and we all have one topic that we can reach and strive together to fight for. So yes.
My name is Christine Lenges, and my take home today is that as a citizen, I should learn from experience. This is whereby if a leader chooses to defy me the first time, the second time, and even thrice, I should not go on, continue voting for them. I should vote them out. Yes, thank you.
My name is Amelie Makowar, and my take home is that leaders, both leaders and the citizens, should not blame each other, because as a country we can't move. So we not need to quarrel or fight or blame each other. All our decisions and all our ideas should be valid. We should hear each other out.
My name is Enida Chiang, and my take home is that we should be aware. It is our responsibility to be aware of the responsibilities and duties of our leaders. Yes.
Whether we choose to blame the leaders today or tomorrow, who are the leaders that we're talking about? You are the leaders, no? So even as we talk about these leaders, we must also ask ourselves all the time, what is our role in that failed leadership? How are we contributing to it? And we talk about leadership, we're not talking about necessarily all the time about politics, we're also talking about the leadership at the school level. So, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Starehe Girls Center for hosting us here today. You're amazing people. Thank you for the great conversation that we've had here with you, the master negotiator, trying to negotiate, to try to understand on everything that we are doing, the responsibility that we have as young people. You are amazing people, and I believe this is the future, not just of Kenya, but the future of Africa. So to me and our team, Company Voices, and even our great partners, the Center for Multi-Party Democracy, through the program Gumzo Shuleni, Tuko Freshy, we just like to say a big thank you.
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the viewers for watching, and also hope that you've taken a little bit of something that will help you to mold the society into a better place. And this has been
Tuko Freshy at Starehe Girls Center.
Tuko Freshy tukiwa wapi?
Starehe Girls Center.
Asanteni sana, makofi kwenyu, asanteni sana.